Las Vegas, deep in the heart of the Nevada desert, a vibrant city full of glamour. But there's more to this world. Fighters from near and far have all made this city their home. And when the lights are not on, they train, they bleed, they refuse to flinch. They leave fear behind, all for their thirst to fight and live out the dream to become fulfilled and become champion of the world. The Boxing Voice presents Joseph Parker's Camp Life.
We are on our way to Joseph Parker's trainer's house. We'll keep you posted on how that is.
You just can't do it.
So for Parker, the program has been done right?
Well, he's got a belt, hasn't he?
Yeah, all right.
He's defended the title twice.
But this is a unification now.
Yeah.
And, you know, some will say that you're here because of the money. Is he ready, or is it because of the opportunity that it represents for him? Win or lose, he's set up.
The other thing is, and for Joe, it's never about the money. He wants the right business done, but this means far more to him than just the money. You know, this is his career defining fight.
Mm-hmm. And
let's remember, this whole fight started when we were looking to fight Lucas Brown. Eddie Hearn called Joe out in the media. And Joe goes to me, I'm down in New Zealand, Joe goes, Eddie Hearn's calling me out, saying that Joshua wants to fight me? And I said, well, apparently. But we'd been 4 weeks, David Higgins and the team had been 4 weeks into putting the Lucas Brown fight together. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden Joe goes, hey, they want to fight me. What do you think, coach? And I said, I think now is the right time. This is the right time for us to fight Joshua. Looking at who both guys have fought, their career paths. We've looked at this fight for the last 3 years, and we thought this was the right time. And if we don't get the job done on March 31, it'll be simply because Joe's not good enough. There's no other reason.
My name is Joseph Parker. I'm the WBO heavyweight champion of the world. My next fight will be with Anthony Joshua for a unification belt. I'm looking forward to it. Bring it on.
First question comes from Anthony Edwards. He says, everybody sees AJ gasses out when he thinks he can stop an opponent, but he puts up a hell of a storm when he flurries. How will you weather that storm?
With this camp, we'll be focusing on, Kevin's got us with some drills that will prepare us for everything that he brings. So I guess I'm just going to stay composed and follow the plan. And just keep jabbing, jab and move.
You guys had a phenomenal video out about a week ago or less. You were sitting there watching the fight live. It was amazing to see your reactions. And
we wanted Deontay to win.
You can tell.
Yeah.
So my question with that is, do you and Joseph always watch fights together? Because I've interviewed so many fighters, and sometimes they say, I don't watch tape. I'm not a boxing fan because I'm always in the gym. What sort of mindset does Joe have when it comes to other fighters in the division, other fighters in boxing in general? Does he pay attention, or is it, that's work, this is life?
No, Joe's a fan. Joe's a boxing fan. He loves watching boxing fights. You know, we if we're not going to fights, we're watching them. And there's Joe, myself, and my son Taylor, who works for Joe and I, and Taylor, more than Joe or I, knows exactly what's going on, knows all the fights that are coming up. He knows all the fighters. He books his sparring partners. He does the research. He watches the tape. So we're always getting information from Taylor. This fight's coming up, and he'll give us the breakdown of the guys. But we're all fans, and I think when boxing is your passion, and to be successful at the highest level, it has to be your passion. And when it is, you become a fan, meaning you respect and you want to support and watch everyone that fights at the highest level.
I just want to say that immediate reaction video you guys had watching it live, it was perfect. It was beautiful.
Or like Kevin. What's happening?
Now, what did you feel about that 7th round? After the 7th, New York State Athletic Commission stepped in. There was no cut. Ortiz's camp feels like they were giving Deontay time, and maybe the fight should have been stopped in the 7th.
I think fighters just focus on fighting, and if the commission wants to do that, that's their job. I think everyone has a job to do. and whatever happens in the fight, you just got to deal with it. So I don't think it's the boxer's fault. I don't think it's the commissioner's fault. I think it's just being safe and being careful. So I think things happen in boxing, but we've just got to deal.
That might be the same answer to my next question, but obviously the UK suffers with some sort of controversy when it comes to stoppages. You can remember Derek Chisora, Malik Scott, a 9 count instead of a 10. Even the Anthony Joshua most recent versus Takum, some people don't feel it should have been stopped. Are you worried? Is it playing in the back of your mind that you may not get a good decision?
No, not really. I feel like if I just go in there and focus on what I have to do and focus on executing the plan, just being in good shape and being healthy and strong for the fight, then I'm not going to be worried about other things. That's external things that shouldn't affect me. I just want to focus on myself.
I'm very relaxed. In fact, we just signed off on the officials this week. The officials for the fight, we have a neutral referee, we have one neutral judge, we have one judge from New Zealand, and we have one judge from the UK. And the neutral is from the US. The judges that have been appointed are very senior judges, very respectable judges. Most have done numerous world title fights. So we're very confident that the BBBOC have given us a good list of officials, and we aren't concerned in getting a bad call there at all.
We spoke to your trainer about how you got this fight and everything that was, I guess, stirred up in the media, just to see where you felt with that. Like, were those your opinions, or was that just a plan hashed out to box Anthony Joshua into a corner to have to take this fight?
It was well planned out, and it was a team effort. I mean, Kevin and David Higgins from Duco sat down and came up with a strategy on how to approach this fight and how to make it happen, and the fight we're negotiating, it died down, and then I think we said a few things that hyped it up again. So I think everything we did was calculated, and if it wasn't for what they planned to do or for what we did, then we wouldn't be sitting here today preparing for a big fight like this.
This fight here is a very, very hard fight. Both guys are going to have some dark moments in this fight. But let me tell you this, when Joseph Parker catches Anthony Joshua, and if Joshua has a little dance, I promise you that Joseph Parker will finish the deal.
But do you feel he has no chin and you will be able to drop him?
I feel like if any heavyweight or if any person hits someone in the chin at the right time, that he can force. So he's got a chin, because you've seen it against Klitschko and against other fighters he's had. But he showed true heart to come back.
How do you feel about not only Eddie Hearn, the promoter, but Anthony Joshua and the overall public and media thinking past this fight? I mean, today Eddie Hearn put out a quote, if Tyson Fury signs, it's a direct route to Anthony Joshua, which means he doesn't assume Joshua's going to lose to you March 31st, which he's not supposed to because he's the promoter, but the world is betting against you. How do you feel?
That's okay with me. I think everyone's entitled to their opinion and how they think the fight's going to go. I know what I want to do, and I feel great. I feel like I'm going to go in there and beat him. So I'm going to put on a hell of a show, and I'm going to make it a surprise.
So where should Joseph be when fighting with Anthony Joshua? Is it on the inside? Is it on the outside, being the boxer? How do you go about facing Anthony Joshua?
Well, without giving away too much, I think it's very important that somebody who has a good, educated, long left jab like Joshua, you can't let him touch you with that jab, because what's coming after that jab is something pretty menacing. Is a big, hard, straight right hand. I think it's very important for Joe in this fight that we need to be complete. We need to be fighting from the outside, from the inside. We need to be fighting off angles. We need to be showing a lot of different looks. You cannot get caught in front of a fighter like Joshua for too long, because he brings very heavy hands.
And can you just talk to us about the relationship with Barry? Because I didn't even know, and I thought I've been doing this long enough, but You know, obviously he had David Tua, and now to have you, it's like the two biggest names out of New Zealand, the two biggest heavyweights, and you must feel like you're in the right spot because he had David Tua, now he has you, and you are a champion. Now you're in a unification. Does everything feel meant to be?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, everything feels like it was meant to be. You know, obviously with the experience he has, being from New Zealand, living here in Vegas, it allowed me to come here and live here, and not only live here, but train, focus. New Zealand has a lot of distractions for me, but I just feel like it was meant to be. You know, we have a great relationship. It's not only trainer and boxer, it's more like a father figure. You know, when I'm away from home, I live with him and his family, and it's like family to me. So it makes it easier to stay here.
We spoke a little bit about you being overlooked. Do you feel that that you're being overlooked as well with the accolades? Because you are the youngest champion. Deontay's maybe 32, Joshua 28, you're 26, and it's kind of going unnoticed that you were able to do what you did in a short time. You're in a unification before the other older, more recognized heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. So, like, do you feel that you deserve more recognition for what you've done thus far?
I think recognition will come when it's ready. I feel like, you know, they're overlooking just because of the past performances, but that's what excites us as a team because we know what we can do. We've seen glimpses of it in sparring and training, pads, bags. So if they overlook us, it's okay. You know, we're just gonna go under the radar and do our thing.
I asked Kevin, what are the differences for him, and I'd like to ask you, in between, I guess, Ruiz and Hughie Fury and Joshua? What are the differences you see in between those men?
Oh, they all bring differences, you know. Hughie's a runner, Ruiz comes forward, and Joshua's in height. So there's a lot of differences, but I don't think it's the fight. It's what we do and how we prepare and how we feel. So this is probably the best we've felt in a long time, and I'm looking forward to the display that I'm going to put on because I can feel it coming.
Do you feel that you're going to put on a boxing lesson? Because I hear you guys planning to go down and be lighter, be more agile, more mobile. Is that the game plan? Maybe.
Yeah, the game plan. You know, I trust in Kevin as a coach. I trust in the game plan that he's going to put in place, and my job is to execute it to the best of my ability. And I feel like I'm going to put on a boxing show. You know, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be punching with a lot of power, and I want to be chasing him.
Is the relationship with you and Kevin more of a father figure relationship? He was telling me about all the fights and the personal messages that you send to him. How is that relationship? And I guess tell us how you guys met.
Well, you know, it was New Zealand. He was good friends with my promoter that signed me, and so they thought it was a great idea for me to join with someone with a lot of experience. And so he was the right guy at the right time. And you know, after the first fight, we just clicked straight away. And there he is.
Did it feel like, I don't know, I guess a kid on Christmas because he's the biggest name in New Zealand?
It just, it was a whole new world. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know about the boxing world. And as soon as I joined with Kev, it was just like, he just non-stop talking. And, you know, I was like a sponge, absorbing every single thing that he was saying. But I learned real fast, you know. I learned really fast what's involved in boxing, how to train, what to eat, everything, you know. So I'm thankful to be able to be training here in Vegas because, you know, I love it here. I love training here. I love staying here, and this is where we get the best out of myself.
Joe and I first started working together in March of 2013. A close friend of mine, Dean Lonergan, was half the promotional company with David Higgins in New Zealand, and Dean used to come to Vegas 3 times a year. And in 2012 he mentioned to me, you know, Duco, which is Higgins and Lonergan, we're going to get involved in boxing. They used to do corporate boxing, and he said, I think we're going to get involved in professional boxing. And I went, wow, that's great. And he said yes. And then the next trip, about 4 months later, he said to me, there's a young boy who missed out on the Olympics called Joseph Parker, and I think we're going to sign him. I said, wow, okay, cool. And I didn't know a lot about Joe at the time, and he said to me, if we sign him, we need you to train him. And I said, okay. Well, right at that stage, we're talking 2012, I had a busted up shoulder. I was working in a position as a director of wellness for an international banking company called the Union Gaming Group.
And so the guys I was actually training weren't potential champion heavyweight boxers. That was, you know, it was easy on my body. So I said to Lonergan, I said, if you sign him, I'll train him.
Would you ever relocate? I mean, he's been here 14 years. He left New Zealand. Would you ever relocate with the family?
Nah, we have a great setup here that we that works for us, you know, and we wouldn't change it. You know, it's working, so I don't think we should change the working formula.
Speaking of what works for you, he spoke about programs and how he likes his fighters to follow certain programs. One didn't and went against his recommendation, ended up with a loss. Do you feel that this is the right time, everything fell into place for this fight, and you're following that said program?
Yeah, like I said, the trust that I have in the relationship that we have, I trust in the guidance that he gives me, I trust in the program that he gives. As a fighter, all I'm going to do is listen, learn, and do my best to follow the program. So I feel like, you know, this is the best camp. It's the best camp at the right time, and we're preparing for one of the biggest fights we're going to be involved in. So it's going to be a bang of a fight.
Now, just walk us through. Obviously, you were thinking Lucas Brown, took to social media and felt like, wait a minute, what does he mean? You know, Anthony Joshua was calling me out, and then you jumped on the phone. Let us know how that happened, because you practically put this thing into motion.
We had fights, you know, we had like a backup plan, you know, we were trying to chase this fight. We sat down as a team, you know, I wanted to fight, Kevin wanted to fight, Duka wanted to fight, so we all sat down, and like I said, they came up with a strategy how to attack it and how to sort of get things going and get them talking. But we always had, you know, as a team, there's always got to be a backup plan in case we don't get this fight. But you know, now that the fight's happening, it's, you know, everyone's happy that it's locked in, and our whole team is excited for it.
Now, why do you know that you can capitalize on this time? Because we've heard Anthony Joshua say in the past, I need a few more fights before fighting Deontay Wilder. We never heard Joseph say, I need a few fights before getting in with Anthony Joshua. In fact, like I said, you were lined up for possibly a Lucas Brown, and you said, no, let's do Joshua, so you changed it.
It's not only myself, but our whole team. We love challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We respect him as a fighter, and we respect him as a champion, and we know that he's, you know, one of the best in the world, so we want to challenge him. You know, we want to fight the best there is, and we want to show everyone that we're the best, which is why we don't want to fight, you know, opponents who are not that good. We want to fight the best in the world. What's
going to be different for Joseph, this fight and the Oceania tournament?
Big difference. You know, back then, there's no comparison. I'm a totally different fighter. I'm in different shape. Mentally stronger, physically in good shape. So it's going to be, you know, it's a hell of a difference.
All right, well, Joe, thank you so much.
For Team Parker, March 31st cannot come soon enough. A momentous day, a one-shot opportunity to demonstrate his greatness. The pundits are writing Joseph Parker as another milestone in AJ's journey. And even though the critics, the media, the intellectuals may be dismissing him, Joseph Parker has other plans. And in those plans, war.
Okay, this is Kevin Barry, Joseph Parker's trainer. We're just finishing up a workout today. It's always great to have the boxing boys here in Las Vegas with us. We're just finishing up. We're a week away from leaving for Cardiff for the Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua unification fight. Thanks for being here, guys. Now get out of here.